Namaste. Hope you having a great day as well as you had a great weekend. I am Magick Croix. And this is called Move It Back Monday when I post a video that I've done years ago. Okay. The reason I do this is so that the video doesn't get, buried. You know what I mean? And plus, some of those older videos are very knowledgeable, very filled with a whole bunch of knowledge and wisdom. And that's not to be braggadocious about that. It's just, I had some incredible guests on it back then, you know. So this particular one it goes, I think maybe an hour and 43 minutes. It's that long, but it's one I did with Triple Goddess Network, aka Crystal Williams. So as you know, if you've been watching me long enough, you'll know that we have collaborated quite a few times. And we even did that workshop for the Lionsgate last year, which was a huge success. So this one is called Love, Sex, and Relationships, because as things were going out of balance then, we saw the need to come together, masculine and feminine energies, and talk about, love, sex, lust, relationships. Now more than ever, with the gender wars and all kind of nonsense that's going on between the sexes, I think this video was just really needed. Okay, I went over it again. I looked at it and I was like, wow, the messages were so on point. And yet, and still, we did this, I think, maybe 7 years ago. So look what has happened within 7 years within the so-called Black community. You got everybody running wild. Everybody, it's a hookup culture. It's not a love. Nothing's done out of love anymore, and it's basically let's fuck, let's get our nuts. That's it. It's sad. You don't see any other race. You don't see Asians. You don't see Hispanics. You don't see Caucasians. You don't see Arabs. You don't see Indians. You don't see natives. You don't see any other race participate in madness the way we do, as far as melanated people are concerned. Okay. Now, the show wasn't particularly about Black men and Black women. It wasn't particularly like that. But in today's environment, where people can't seem to find a mate because people don't want a mate, I will stray away from talking about melanated women, because there's people who already do that. Okay? People already do that, particularly this one woman named the Crimson Cure. She has some great content on her channel. She talks about this, so I won't be doing that. Okay? I'm not here to point out our mistakes and what we do and what has failed us. I'm not here to do that. Not at all. Me and Crystal came together to balance the masculine and feminine energies. And I think we accomplished that with this particular video, okay? We had a conversation prior to doing this. It was like, this is so needed in our community. I mean, what is love? What is sex? What is a relationship? What does it consist of, okay? I believe we accomplished this. So without further ado, from 2015, here is myself and the Triple Goddess Network with love, sex, and relationships. I hope you enjoy as much as I did. Namaste. Welcome and greetings. I am Magick Croix. It's gonna stop a virus. No. This
got y'all listening now. Some witchcraft for that ass. Too late to turn away. Abracadabra and all that good shit. Yo. Hocus pocus, got you focused on my rhyme. Simply easy, now I'm eating couch potatoes, I recline. No, I'm joking as I'm toking power puffs and pokey yokes. Till my town and villa filled with ganja smoke, you know the dope. Coming out my pipes, talking about the bones in my throat. With the mic, I'm casting curses every night, you know the scope. Got my spells handy. You may call it the phone, but when I'm done reciting, you'll give me the keys to the throne. Then I'll take my keys to go home. Then say I was done. While rush to end it all, it feels amazing to have won. I'm not planning to ball, but why not take the chance to stunt? No, I don't need it all. Can think of a thing I don't want. Do I worship the sun? Or sold my soul for the tongue? Or dead since I was young? Or got some voodoo?
There we go.
It's live. I see live.
It is live.
Well, I'm going to assume it's live if it says live. Okay. We had some technical difficulties in the beginning, but I think it was the spirits. I was going to wait and do the whole thing, the whole ritual that I had set out on live on air, but I think Pompagira and Ishu had their own ideal about that. And so I started by burning a charcoal disc right here that I put some tobacco. This was my uncle Willie, who has made the transition's favorite tobacco. So I put some tobacco in it because that is a way to call the spirits and appease the spirits, and it's a Native American tradition. And then I burned some spirit money, and I gave them some tobacco water that I made, and I said a prayer to Papa Legba and Pompagira and asked them to be with us and open up. So, and then they showed me what to do. It was so simple how they just showed me, well, click this and click that and click this, you know. So, but you know how they work. So, you know, they like to play tricks on you. They like to mess with stuff.
Yeah. I did something similar, but not quite. I did a prayer to Ishtar, and I burned some spirit money, I burned some frankincense, and I have lit here my salt lamp. What's it called? Salt candle lamp. Is that what it's called? Yeah. To
yeah, Himalayan sea salt lamp. There you go.
sea salt. Okay. Thank you. I did that, and you know, I dressed one of my 7-day candles that's sitting on my altar to Ishtar, and her Sumerian name Inanna, to give us some guidance. And I said some prayers to that the love goddesses, Aphrodite, Heru, Diana, Oshun, Mama Shola, La Serene, Urzuli.
I don't want to interrupt you, but
That's
this
okay.
is a list of all the names of the gods and goddesses that I wanted to call as we were on here together. And you named pretty much all of them just there. Every last one of them, almost, I'm going to tell you. You see how we're in synchronicity, how we're in sync, you know?
Right.
It's weird.
That's the spirits moving through us. So I also have sitting here just one of my little rose quartz crystals.
Mama
here.
got something in her bra. A rose quartz. Mama put that in her bra before she came and sat out. You know, black women like to put stuff in our bra, like our money and stuff. You know, stick all the time. So, tip. Yeah. I mean, men are not. They don't have. Well, some men have boobs. Uh-oh. Where'd you go?
I'm right here.
I feel like I lost you for a minute. Okay, I got you back.
Okay.
But yeah. So very interesting how in sync we are without talking about it, because I'm gonna just tell y'all this, because they'll be saying, oh, y'all sat down and talked about every single aspect. No, we didn't. All I told him is that we need to do something on love, sex, and magic. We're gonna sit down, we're gonna chop it up, and this is the day. We talked this morning very briefly, and I just told him I felt like it was a good day to do it. And I told him why, what I found out astrologically and things like that. So we didn't sit down and, you know, coordinate all of these elements and then get up here and be like, see y'all. No, this is really the spirit moving things and showing synchronicity and connection, you know, Mayan balance between the masculine and the feminine half. So that's why I really wanted to bring you on, because I've been feeling like I wanted to do something like this. I think I started speaking about it like 2 years ago. And that's why people need to understand and overstand first. Let's talk about what magic is. Magic is creating change. And there are many, 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 many tools that you can use to create change. Um, it can be prayers, it can be candles, incantations, you know, you can do a number of things, visualization, all of that is magic. And I think some people have a misconception about what magic is, and it kind of has this negative connotation as to where people don't really understand when they're doing it and when they're not doing it. And we're always doing it. You know, as I was speaking to male friends and telling them we need to talk about this. I want to do a show about it. I want to bring on a man. Even though it might not have been that person, the universe is receptive and it was listening. And it was putting things and lining things up so that today would happen, you know, and that's a part of magic, you know, spelling and speaking things into existence. You're a Virgo, you know about that. Y'all real good with your words and, you know, dealing with Mercury.
Yeah. Yeah, very much so. I'm born under that feminine sign, so I have a lot of feminine qualities, you know, not in a gay or homosexual way or anything like that. It's just that qualities of a woman is very present in me. But we also ruled by Mercury, which is a sign of communication and sign of intelligence. I found it interesting that while we were having these technical difficulties, we went into the hour of Mercury. So I found that very interesting. Like
You
you
know,
said
it's no
before,
coincidence.
I know. And just like you said before, you know, that's how the spirits move. So I think it's interesting that we were able to get this rolling during the Mercury hour.
And I'm gonna speak on that a little bit because you know how I love my astrology, and a lot of people that become, I think, metaphysical and spiritual, I meet people that get to a certain point where they want to throw away astrology and they find that it's a pseudoscience and that their mind is so powerful that they can overcome this directive energy, this force that's out there. And so they quickly want to abandon it and say that it has no validity and, you know, things like that. However, I'm going to break it down to you, and I'm just going to show you, because whether or not you are conscious of what's going on or you even accept the laws, because astrology is about law, you know, all is law, right? All law. That's what all law really means. All is law. So if all is law, astrology is the law of the cosmos, the law astro, which means the stars and the heavenly bodies and how they move. You know, the indigenous people understood that. And that's why they planted things at certain times and they did certain things at certain times, because they understood that the cycles and the way that the moons, especially as far as growing things, and the way that the planets were moving would affect how what they were doing would grow. And it even affected them because we are part of the microcosm. We're part of the universe and we're connected to it. So everything that happens affects us. And me and you, I've been trying to like schedule a time to do this, and I've been talking about it, and it just seemed like things weren't lining up. And then all of a sudden you came with a date and you was real clear on it. You said Saturday, and I said, you know what, I think that sounds good. So I pull out my Goddess of Days, my handy trusty book here, and I'm just going to go to today, which is February the 20th right here. And it's talking about the day of Tetia in Rome, the silent goddess, the avatar of the harmful goddess. She is Demeter, the mother of Lorth, the household goddess, and is also known as Laura. So you're talking about the Muta, and these different goddesses, the goddess of the household dealing with woman, and then you're dealing with the moon, right? And today is a place where the moon is in Leo. Leo is about love and relationships and fertility. Then we got the sun. The sun is in Pisces. Pisces is kind of like Pisces ruled by Neptune, which is kind of like a higher octave of Venus, you know. We got Venus sitting here in Aquarius. Aquarius rules the mind, it rules invention, it rules communicating, and things like that, and making connections within the community, like how we're coming together to talk about it. Because I think Aquarius is like the internet is probably an Aquarian invention if you think about it, you know, because it's dealing with like a higher octave of Mercury. So it's like the planets in the universe wanted us to come together on this particular day and do this thing, you know, even though sometimes we want to do it when we want to. And if it doesn't happen in that time, sometimes people get discouraged, but it'll happen. And the universe was moving us. It probably encouraged us and inspired us to do this long ago, you know, maybe even in previous lifetime. And then it's like, now it's time to get together. The planets are here. The planets are supportive. They're there to guide us. They give us energy. And, you know, the goddess, this is what she wants. This is, you know, it's
I totally, I totally agree with that. I think it happened so quickly too, because I think we mentioned it maybe in passing before, but it was like last Saturday. You brought the idea. You was like, you know, Valentine's Day is coming up, so why don't we, you know, do a video, a joint video? And then I was like, well, let's not do it on Valentine's Day, since we had just come, well, since you had just came up with the idea. And then all of a sudden it was like, okay, let's do it this weekend. We got a whole lot of free time after Valentine's Day, you know, full moon energy and everything else that you were suggesting and talking about as far as the planets were concerned. So yeah, I think the spirits and the planets aligned up perfectly for us to talk about love, sex, and relationships as far as melanated people are concerned. So my sister, my fellow occultist, Crystal, you want to get us started?
Yes, I'm starting right now because I set up a little altar. And my intentions in magic and in life and anything you do is probably the most important part of your magic. Get your intentions right and get clear on what you want. My intentions is to send loving, healing energy to everybody that is a part of this live stream right now. So you had to be patient if you really wanted to be blessed, and let the spirit move you. And don't think that me sitting here in Michigan praying for you won't help you, because actually it really will. I prayed for clients. I prayed for someone that was in England, and she called me and was like, my prayer was answered. You know, I've done that several times. So don't think that, you know, the spirit won't heal you, won't bring you new love and all those things. But basically this candle setup that I did, this is Yemonya, okay? Yemonya is the great mother. She would be synchronized with Ishtar, with Isis and Anana, because she's the great mother. The sign Cancer and the sign Pisces actually are ruled by her. So that's one of the reasons I felt like she wanted to be involved. And I'm going to tell you another reason why I know she wanted to be involved. Because, you know, I like to follow astrology and what's going on in the current events. And right now there's a cyclone bearing down that's getting ready to hit Fuji. And they were saying that this cyclone started February the 11th. That's the day that Whitney Houston made the transition. Remember, I did a video where I discussed that. So on the day that Whitney Houston made the transition, just after Fat Tuesday and the Mardi Gras and that whole celebration, they said it was a thunderstorm that started. It was a Thursday. That's Oya's day. That's the day I venerate Oya on. It started as a thunderstorm. And that this storm is so strange that it has went over the same spot twice, and that is unheard of. That it went across this area earlier this week, then doubled back and hit this area again, okay, at almost a category 5. So that is definitely Madre Agua and the spirits and the, you know, working this energy. She was telling me she wanted to be involved, so I included her. This candle right here, which doesn't seem to want to burn. Let me see. This one is for Oshun. I think people need more healing than anything, because this candle, I'm going to tell you, I just don't think it's gonna burn. This pink one. And that's another thing people need to pay attention to when you have candles do stuff like that. When your candles stop burning, when they're not acting right. Now I can work it, but I'm not going to, because I just really feel like this is a sign from her. Her energy is a lot stronger right now than Oshun's energy. And it's about healing. That's what's really missing from a lot of people's sex magic, spiritual magic period, is healing. And I think that's one of the biggest issues and one of the big areas I want to discuss while we're talking about how to use magic for love and things like that. Because you can't love nobody and you can't attract nobody to you if you ain't healing. You got all this, you know, these wounds that are underneath the surface most of the time, you know, and festering. So Yemaya is definitely in control. She's the great mother, and she here. The green candle is sitting under the symbol for the heart chakra for healing again and opening the heart. So that's green. It's actually a palm candle. And I put healing herbs in the yin and yang. I put like vervain and violet leaf. What else did I put in there? Copal. Actually, if you want to get that actual blend, I do sell it. But I put a couple other things in there with the intentions of healing. And I'm going to let them burn together. And these are different crystals. This one I really want to show you because I think it's important. This is called celestial light. It's also known by some other names. It's known by pineapple quartz, candle quartz. And what it does, it heals the heart and it heals ancestral wounds. A lot of us are dealing with ancestral wounds and things that need to be healed that are so deep that we need certain crystals and things, and we need to target that area in our lives so that we can bring in the love and the things that we desire in our lives. And so the rest of these crystals are like moon quartz, and this is a y'all don't laugh at me because I made this. I know it don't look so great, but it's the energy in it. I made myself this little ankh that's got aquamarine and bluestone and a little quartz for directing the feminine energy. And you know, just a couple other things, a prophyllite right here for clarity, rose quartz, lapradite, which is for love as well. And again, I'm just going to wish everybody that's watching, loving, healing energy that Madre Agua, the mother of the seven seas, first heals you, heals your wounds, and then helps you to bring in true love and to maintain true love. Because a lot of us are able to attract love into our lives, but sometimes we have difficulty maintaining it and holding on to it and nurturing it. And yin and yang is about nurturing it, you know, water, giving it energy, giving it nurturing energy, you know, to whatever it is that you're doing. So that was it. That's all I wanted to say. Oh, there was an incense burning here too, which I think I'm gonna light another one. I like these incense. Smell really good. It's called Song of India, the Indian temple. So,
And that's interesting that you said we need to heal before we can bring in, you know, more love into our lives. And I think a lot of people don't understand is that we've been taught and it's been embedded in our psyche as well as our DNA to not love each other, you know, for so long. It's just really embedded, like I said, in our psyche. You know, that's why you got people that's all, one of the most common requests is love magic, you know, bring my lover back to me, or something to that extreme. It was even one sister, and I love to give out this example. She wanted this guy back who left her for another woman. Now, she didn't want him back just because she loved him so much. She wanted him back because he had broken her heart so badly. She's actually said this to me. She said, I want him to suffer the same way I did. I said, I don't think that's a good idea. And I held this woman off for like a month. She kept saying, I want to bring him back, because I want him to pay. It wasn't love. It was pretty much hate. I said, look, if I tell you what to do to bring him back, it's going to bring him back. But It's not going to be in the way you want. It's not going to be no, he's going to fall madly in love with you and then, you know, you get revenge. I said it doesn't work that way. He's going to come back, but not the way you want. She kept persistent. She kept persistent. And then I said, okay, this is real simple. You got a pair of his drawers? Go burn it in your backyard. So she did it. I talked to her a week later after that. And then she couldn't get rid of him. She could not get rid of this man. And then one night he burned the house down. This is a true story. He burned the house down trying to get to her. And
I'm sorry, y'all. I know I'm supposed to laugh, but
I'm just saying, I kept warning her. I was like, look, you're just out for revenge. Why don't you just try and heal yourself? Like, heal yourself, allow more love to get it instead of worrying about hurting him.
I'm sorry. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna tell you a little funny story about a client of mine, and they will remain nameless. And she had been going to see, she had been talking to several spiritual workers in different professions about a same situation, basically a reconciliation situation. You know, the man she was dating had strayed, and there were some extenuating circumstances that I won't get into, but that she wanted to bring him back. And so she went to, I think, 2 other workers that she had told me about it, and who knows how many readers she had been to. And so by the time she came to me, and she's come to me because she's wanting to address the situation with this man. So I asked her what's going on, and she's telling me, well, I just got finished working with a lady that did some work for me, and she's sending me some stuff, you know, but she wasn't getting fast results, and she wasn't getting the results. Well, she was getting results, but I guess she still wasn't getting what she desired out of it. She was getting results, and I'm gonna tell you the difference between the two. She was getting results on the work that the lady did that she asked her to do, but the results that she was getting still didn't give her the desired outcome that she desired, which was to have this man back, move on, and have babies. Okay, so the problem is that she was blocked. She needed to heal. She had been hurt a lot. She had taken a lot of negative energy on from different places, just being sensitive to energy, and she needed to have that negative energy removed, be healed, and then open her roads so that then you can attract to you or bring to you whatever it is that you desire. Remember, I tell people there's an order of operations to this. There is a sequence that you need to go in order to get what you want. So what happened? The lady that was doing the work for her, she did the work properly. She was a skilled woman. And the gentleman started contacting her, wanted to see her, was trying to spend time with her, telling him he loved her. But because she was still so messed up emotionally and had this negative energy on her, she didn't want to see him. She didn't feel right. And she kept coming to me, getting readings. And when I first read with her, you don't necessarily have to be a charlatan in this business to not be helping people. Because you can really do the work, but still not be helping people. Because if you know that this woman is blocked and she wants love and she wants this man to come back, I don't care what you do. You keep doing stuff to draw him back until you remove this blockage and you heal this and you open up the road, this lane, and make space for this new energy. And love is an energy. Then she can't. It's like you got this cup that you're trying to put too much water in. You're trying to put 3 cups of water into a half a cup. You know, it's just not the room. So that's why the worker should have told her, look, and that's what I told her, because she wanted me to do more love work. And I could have taken the money, because we all need money, right? We got to pay our bills. Money's the energy. I could have taken her money and said, you know, I'm going to do more love work for you, and nothing would have happened. It would have been the same thing. She would have been getting results. He would have been calling. He would have been professing love, and she wouldn't want to go. She would feel messed. It would be the same thing. So she wasn't happy with that, because some people want what they want. And that's why when you go, you need to first find out what's really going on. What is the issue? Because if there's a problem with your work, with attracting love or maintaining it, you got to know something's going on. You have to address what the issue is before you can then bring it and then maintain it. Because you may get it and then there'll be this constant reversion. You know, you'll attract something to you, and then it'll be there for a short time, and there'll be this reversionary period where it'll be going away, and your feelings will be so hurt in that process because you'll keep feeling rejected. by these different men, or if you're a man, by these different ladies. And it's not about them rejecting you. It's really about you rejecting you because you're not dealing with your own inner stuff. And there's no room, you know, you don't have the capacity for it, no matter how much you say it and you mean it. And you see celebrities have it. And so you convince yourself that you're ready. You convince yourself that you're healed and that you're over all these issues. No, you're not. No, you're not. Yo, I know I wouldn't. So, I mean, we are, I mean, let's be honest. A lot of, I mean, we people here, we're wounded, especially coming out of, you know, our culture. There's a lot of wounds, you know, and a lot of times those wounds don't get healed because of the way our culture is now set up, you know. It's meant to instigate it instead of resolve it, you know.
And you think this is the reason, and this is my opinion, but I think this is the reason why we don't trust each other. It goes deeper than what we think it is. It goes back to, you know, and I'm not trying to bring race into it, but it's something that you can't avoid. It goes back to slavery days when we were pitted against each other, our families were broken up and everything. So that's passed on from generation to generation. We don't know how to love each other. We don't know how to work together to achieve our common goals.
Say that one again.
We don't know how to work together to achieve our common goals. And it's a sad sight to see, because I see so many brothers that say they don't like sisters because sisters are so defensive. They this, they that. And I'm like, you know, for one thing, sisters are always getting the short end of the stick. They're being beaten up by the brothers, but not only that, they be beaten up by other races. And, you know, we're not there for them as men, you know? And so a sister's nature is just strength, mentally, physically, everything about a sister is just mentally strong. So I don't see how going to another race is going to resolve any of these brothers' issues, because, I mean, we all need each other, and we seem to have forgotten how our family structures, our romances, the love between the black man and the black woman was our foundation. All you got to do is look at the 60s and how the sisters and the brothers were like this. And, you know, time and time again, all this propaganda has driven us apart. And this is the reason why we are the way we are today. There's no healthy relationships, men turning into women, women turning into men, these role reversals. I mean, it's just not healthy.
You know what? It's interesting you would bring that up, because I knew that was going to come up, and I actually wrote it down, because there is, I think in this society, the way this society has been reconstructed in our the way that they condition us, has people always at one extreme or the other, which from those perspectives, you're never going to be in a healthy place. So one thing that I learned as I was doing some research for this this powwow we having right now, was there was an occultist named, and I might be saying this wrong, you probably can say it better than me, Pascal
Beverly Randolph.
Pascal Beverly Randolph. Okay. He was what they would consider to be a mixed race mulatto man. He was born in 1826. Okay. So that show you how long ago it was. And he was basically the first person to start writing on sex magic and things like that. He was an occultist. He was a medical doctor. His family was very politically connected. He was related to a lot of statesmen and congressmen and people like that. And so anyway, one of the things I was reading in his book, and I think it was his book called Love Magic, is that even though, say for instance, a man is masculine, but man is not all man, but part woman. And woman is not all woman, but part male. That's what the yin and yang symbol means, that the man has some feminine within him and the woman has some masculine within them. So that's like the law of gender. Now, Pascal says that in his book that even though the man has a penis and he's masculine there, that his mind is feminine, and that the woman, even though the woman is feminine and has feminine receptive genes and is considered feminine energetically, her mind is masculine. So what I'm saying to you is people are out of balance within themselves. I'm going to say this personally. I don't believe one way or the other that homosexuality is right or wrong. People try to make all these historical claims on it, but I'm going to tell you, every time I look in history, I see where different traditions embraced it. The Native Americans called homosexuals two spirits, that they were born and they embodied the spirit of two people. And they would immediately take these people to the side and teach them to be healers. And they would teach them how to honor this hermaphrodite energy, which is like Mercury, right? This hermaphrodite energy. Now we're going to go back and let's talk about the Catholic Church. There is this deity called Cabal. This is the Goddess Book of Days, and I love this book because it'll give you a lot of information about different deities from different eras. And in Cabal was a warrior goddess. She probably was one of the first mother goddesses to be worshipped, but she was like fierce, okay? And this is who the Romans start doing rituals to. That's basically how they took over and kicked everybody out, okay? Because what they was doing wasn't working. They had to go get Cabal, and they had to go start doing rituals to her. And the reason I'm bringing it up is along with Cabal, there was this occult that went with her. And basically a part of this cult is that the men would go into this frenzy and they would then cut their penises off, and they would become hermaphrodites, or what you would call mute. You know what I'm saying? They would dress as women, and they would do spiritual things as women. And this is in Rome. So this was called the cult of Cabal, Kybele, where they would castrate themselves, okay, basically, and they would stay in that way, and it was a part of an offering to her. So what I'm saying is basically that every spiritual system and every culture has understood that this ambivalent energy that resides within some people that we call homosexuality, bisexuality, whatever, is really somebody who acknowledges or feels that other part of themselves so much so that it's in conflict with the way that they're projecting themselves, okay, or the way that they are now. So just like everything in this society is we've devolved. So, you know, no longer do shamans and mediums come into the mystery system and are taught about spirits. No, shamans go out and they end up becoming drunks because they're dealing with spirits. And you know what I'm saying is basically that these people and this energy is meant to be honored in a holistic way. But because of the way that our society is set up, and we're just, let me say this lovingly, fucked up, it basically upholds everything, you know what I'm saying, everything creation, so that it doesn't function in a holistic way. So now you have what appears to be, you know, all of this homosexuality. That's because Black men, for one, talk about Black men, they're not allowed to embrace and balance the feminine side of themselves, okay? Because it's beat out of them at a young age, and they can't allow themselves to let their guard down. And you know, honoring the feminine side of themselves is automatically considered gay, and so they don't want that label and they stay away from it. But that's really your God self. If you really want to ascend, the man has to take on feminine energy. He has to balance the feminine side of himself. And if woman wants to become goddess, she's got to take on the masculine energy and balance that with the feminine side of herself. So that's why they do this to us, is so that they keep us from rising. Because every time we get ready to go into another energy stream, we get caught up in the left brain thinking, the part of us that they program, and oh, that's gay, I can't mess with that. Or just like with spiritual stuff, oh, that's spooky, that's evil, I can't mess with that. That's the devil. That's witchcraft. I can't mess with that. But that's exactly where you got to go. So they set up these triggers, right, around everything that is supposed to be the gateway to open up to the other things that you need to do to have you afraid to mess with it, you know, because everything in balance, you know what I'm saying? We're out of balance. You know, heterosexuality is out of balance. It is. You know, I know some guys that can probably in one day go through and have sex with 5 women and then talk about it and think it's cool. That's nasty. Unless you're a porn star, that's nasty. You know, but it's acceptable. It's acceptable. So it's everything. What I'm saying is the lack of balance, the lack of, you know, harmony in these things is all or nothing. And from when you're dealing in that perspective, you know, you're always going to be lacking something. You see, you're always going to be unstable, and we're unstable. So you can't build if you're not stable. And a relationship is about building, right? If you're unstable, you can't build. So if you got 2 unstable, rickety chair people trying to, you know, come together and build something, they little lean and tall piece of a building ain't gonna stand. You know, it ain't.
All right, so let me speak on that also. Is that, like I said, we are the propaganda that's been used, the war tactics that's being used. I'm gonna just say this, and then we got some questions in the little chat box on YouTube.
Good, because I couldn't get to them. I can't see that. Mine ain't working on my end.
What I wanted to say is that, you know, I spoke about this in a few of my videos. It's called propaganda, and the images that's embedded in our subconscious are, you know, you never ever, like ever, see Black men and Black women in healthy, loving relationships. All you see is these love and hip hop shows where everybody fighting all the time, and you see Fatal Attraction and all these. We are featured on crime like stories, but when you see Caucasians, they portray themselves as being the epitome of love and you know, a loving relationship. And so that's one of the world war tactics that's being used against us. And it runs so deep that we just do not trust each other. Then you have the soy products that gives men all this extra estrogen and the fluoride. I mean, so many weapons used against us to perpetrate, you know, that we are just incapable of loving each other. And then even on the movie screens, you see, what was that last movie by Michael Ealy and Michael Ealy and Morris Chestnut, and I think Sanaa Lathan was in it. Perfect Stranger, or
I didn't get to see that, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, here you have this guy stalking a Black woman, and then you had Idris Elba and somebody else, Taraji Henson, I think. And I mean, he was stalking her and her daughter. I mean, it's just, you never see. I think the last time I saw a movie where a Black man was loving a Black woman was Loving Basketball. And that was how many years ago?
Wow. You're right. They don't give us a lot of images of healthy. They don't give us a lot of images of ourselves, period, that are healthy.
Exactly. But they know, you know, since we're magicians and occultists, they know that this is a very effective and efficient technique to use against us, because if we can come together and rise and build our, you know, nation building and loving each other like we used to, there's no stopping the Black community. And so that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to okay, yeah, somebody said the perfect man. Okay, yeah. Yeah, thank you for clarifying that. It's called The Perfect Man, but the man apparently was a fucking psychopath. So I'm like, okay, so how's that? You know what I'm saying? It's directed at us, but then you'll see, and I'm not trying to go off on the tangent here, but you'll see Gaza, Egypt with an all-white cast, and then you'll see all these The Notebook and stuff like that, and Eat, Pray, Love, and all these images of Caucasians in loving, healthy relationships. I know I keep repeating myself, but it's just pathetic to me to see that they want to keep us apart, and we fall for it. Because there are times where I speak to some sisters and they just look at me and I'm like, you know, I don't mean no harm. I'm just saying hi, how you doing? You know, but we so apprehensive of each other that it's just a job that has been done so well on us, and we continue and perpetrate it ourselves. One of the chat viewers wanted to know how you what you did to heal your past hurts.
What I'm doing to heal my past hurts. Let me tell you something. Just
It says,
using
can
your
you tell
heart.
us what you did to heal your past hurts?
Yeah. Okay. I can. First and foremost, I want to say this. It is not a one-time thing. I think people come into spiritual things, magic, with this Disney, Hollywood version of how it works and what it can do for you. Some people think, oh, if I just go find a more powerful spell, a more powerful person, a more powerful system, that I can do this one or two things and I'm gonna be straight. You're deluding yourself about anything in life, period, but especially doing healing and stuff like that. So it's going to be something you're going to have to be committed to, because there's layers of this. It's layers of this. And like I said before, I don't know, everybody comes from different spiritual beliefs. So I don't know if people believe in past lives and reincarnation and things like that. But a lot of times these conflicts that we have in our lives around relationships, or these wounds, they began before we even came into this lifetime. Some of us are even sharing the karmic energy and debt from our ancestors through the wounding and brutality of that. Let me just share with you a example of how this might work. And I like movies to show you, because movies can be a powerful thing. We got to understand that that's magic right there. Okay. Music is heavily magic. That ain't nothing but magic. Chanting, you calling the deities, you spelling stuff, you rhyming. Okay. That's Mayat all the way. Mayat Malice, the scales, that's her. Okay. But you deal with the media and you deal with symbolism, and you understand that they show you certain things because it triggers things in your subconscious mind. And whether or not you know it's fiction, your subconscious mind doesn't know it's fiction. And it's going to accept everything it receives when it's programmed and the message is encoded in that way. So these negative relationships, the ads they use to target us, to make us consumers, the type of music they push out there, all of that is spiritual programming and a number of magic that's being thrown on you every time you sit there with these lights flashing. Okay, that's like our LED machine. Think about it. It's nothing but these flashing color and lights. Think about what a movie screen is. TV, these lights flashing, right? Programming, doing things to your neurons, right? Messing with your neuroplasticity. So as far as for healing, the movie, and I like this movie. I've seen it a lot. It's called Practical Magic. It has Sandra Bullock in it. The lady that was married to Tom Cruise. What's her name? I can't think of her name right now. She's from Australia. I can't think of her name. She's in it. A couple other people. Anyway, the premise of the movie is that these ladies are witches. They're long lines of witches, and like their community. Nicole Kidman. Okay. And their community kind of shuns them for generations, right? And so what happened was, because this lady was a witch, and this was like set back, I guess during Puritan times or whatever, she was one of those sexual witches, and she was going around, having sex with different people. And hello, I think I lost him. It says I'm still live. Let's see. Let me see if he calls back in, but I'm just going to go ahead on and continue It says I'm still live, so looks like he's coming back in. Let me see if he's coming back. Are you back with me?
I'm back with you.
Okay. So anyhow, anywho, the matriarch of the family from back in those times, they were going to hang her, and they, you know, put her up and was going to hang her, and everybody watching. And when it came time to hang her, she did something. She jumped down and broke the rope, and they were scared of her. So she went off and basically became like an outcast and was on an island, but she was pregnant. So while she was there, because of all the turmoil she felt, because of all the pain, being a single mother, being shunned by society, she was in so much emotional pain and conflict that she cursed herself. And the curse was strong. It cursed her bloodline of every woman that was born after her, that they would never have true love. Even if they got it, it would be taken away. Each time the man would die. So that's what I wanted to get to. You know, we have to think about the slave trade and what that did to us, separating families, abuse, sexual abuse around that, sexual abuse that we were dealing with from this lifetime. You know, that can create, you can almost like curse yourself to where you basically sabotage yourself. You might even create an energy. It's called a poltergeist, where people who have psychic ability, and a lot of them are probably empaths, and they don't know how to deal with the emotions and they harbor them. They create this energy, right, outside of themselves. And the more they direct this energy, they have it and they harbor it. This thing, this new being gets fed. And after a while, it can get a consciousness of itself, and then it does stuff in the house and it operates like a spirit. You think you got a, you know, some kind of a ghost or something, and it may be a poltergeist or some entity, some truth created based on not dealing with your emotions, not healing. You hear people say, "Oh, I don't feel my emotions. I don't deal with them." Them people probably got all kind of shit out here floating around their head on them. So go ahead.
Let me just interrupt for just a second. And it's just like we always say that we always in sync, because we always are. It's interesting that you just said that, because I'm always talking about how there are hidden messages in like cartoons, right? So, you know, anybody who knows me knows I watch Family Guy and American Dad. As racist as they are, that shit is funny. But anywho, there was an episode on American Dad where they had a poltergeist. They were recreating the movie Poltergeist in a funny way, but it was because the wife never achieved sexual satisfaction. So she created a poltergeist and it was tearing the house up. And the kids was like, "Dad, you got to go satisfy mom." And so I just feel like that's real interesting that you just brought that up. And it just reminded me of that cartoon.
Cartoons and TV will show you. You got to pay your open eyes and pay attention. It's right there in your face. They show you all in open daylight. It's just that we are so inoculated and just distracted, and we don't understand symbology anymore, and we don't know mythology, so we don't have a reference point for it. You know, it kind of go over people's head. And I'll be honest with you, even as I watch something, for instance, I've seen that movie Practical Magic. I used to have the DVD, so I've seen it so many times I can't even tell you.
I've seen it at least 10 times.
Yeah, but the last time that I watched it, that part really stood out to me. You know, you can see something 100 times and pick up different levels of meanings from it every time you go to it. But healing from those kind of wounds, because first you got to understand, before you can fix anything, you have to know what the root is, what caused this injury, what caused this imbalance. Because in order to solve it, the solution involves the problem. A lot of people don't know what the problem is. They thinking it's something else outside of them, or they thinking that they too fat, so they go lose a lot of weight, and then that don't work. Or they think that their hair ain't long enough, so they go take a bunch of hair affinity pills and get some weave, you know. And or you know, they think their booty ain't big enough, and so they go get a bunch of implants. They go see the house mom and they shoot them in their booty with the lopsided booty. You know how many people in Detroit I know right here with lopsided booties? Booty, you know, like somebody took and popped the booty cheek. I'm not trying to be funny, but serious. It's like, 'cause I've been there. I know they had you tearing yourself up trying to figure out what's wrong with you, why this shit ain't going right. You need to heal this stuff. One of the things that I'm gonna tell you that I do, and first of all, I'm a real metaphysician, I guess you would call it. I don't believe in just throw magic at it and that's it. Okay. Don't say you have to handle things on 3 levels in order to rectify it on 3 levels. So you have to deal with it emotionally. You have to deal with it spiritually, and you have to deal with it mentally. Okay. Because these issues are threefold. So as far as healing, you have to talk about it. And I don't mean talking about it to people that don't give a damn. People that taking your stuff. What did it say about today's salacious gossip? People running their mouth. Okay, that's what's wrong with a lot of relationships. I'm gonna tell you because I'm a reader. Quit when you find somebody good. Quit talking about it. Okay, when you fall out with your man, don't run and tell everybody about it. Okay, go tell your deity, your God, or go get you a good reader and tell them. Quit telling all your friends about your business and about your healing. Even if you want to heal, keep shit to yourself. That'll help you out right there. Just keep close to yourself and find a good professional, somebody that's trained, somebody who cares, who's sympathetic, and can give you key insights to let you see the situation objectively. Because a lot of times when we're in something, we're so emotionally involved in it, we're not objective, and we need an objective third party on the outside to see it 360 degrees and not be caught up in the emotions of it all. Okay, that's the first step. You got to find some kind of outlet. You got to talk about it. You have to air it out. Okay, that's Mercury. You got to air out any wounds before they can heal. Then you have to deal with it emotionally. You have to deal with your emotions. There's different things that you can do to heal the emotions. One of the things that I like is Bach therapies. I've talked about them before. They're not cheap, but I'm going to tell y'all find money to do everything else you want to do. The red bottoms, you get them. The Jordans, you go find them. You got an iPhone and every gadget, but then when it comes to your spiritual stuff, you ain't got it. That's like ass backwards to me. So invest in your health, invest in your process, invest in yourself. If you invest in you, then other people will invest in you. So Bach therapies are good. You want to start working with flower essences and herbs because they're going to help you on a molecular level. I have this Kame. I think I showed it to you guys. I got it from Delbert Blair's metaphysical store, and it's called Kame Rose, and it's a supplement, and you take it dietarily. A dietary supplement that helps you to heal emotions, help you to deal with heavy emotions, heal them, relieve those burdens. You definitely want to find you a metaphysical spiritual healer of some type. Maybe, whatever kind, you find out what works for you. Acupuncture, Reiki, crystal healing, Tai Chi, yoga. You want to do something because you want to move this energy off you. We have several energy bodies. And when we go through things, this lifetime, past lifetimes, our ancestors, it's in our body. And you need somebody to come in and help you shift the energies, remove blockages, get your chakras working right. So on the physical, on that level, that's helping you also on the physical level. Then you want to come in and do your spell work. This, what I'm doing right here, is a part of it. Working with Yamaya, she heals the emotions. She's the great nurturer. She's water, so water heals. You want to take cleansing baths, healing baths. You want to work with deities that deal with healing emotional wounds and things like Kuan Yin. She's one of those type of deities that's nurturing and healing. Oshun heals and is for self-love. There's just multiplicity of different deities that you can deal with and energies. Work with your ancestors, the women in your line, and ask them to heal you, taking different cleansing baths on a regular basis, and make this a ritual. Make this something you do on a regular basis, and it doesn't have to be verbatim what I'm saying, but you have to come up and let the spirit guide you as far as, in these different modalities, which one of them is going to work best for you, and do it and be committed to it. People aren't committed to it. And I'm gonna tell you something that's happened. People will do something, they'll get a result, and it'll get better, and they'll stop and think they gotta do nothing else. And then when it all comes back and they're like, oh my God, this stuff doesn't work. Yes, it does, but you have to be consistent. It didn't happen overnight. If you've been in a bad relationship that messed with your self-esteem for 10 years, I hope you don't think that one spell and it felt good, and now in a week you feel good and you think it's over. No. It took 10 years. I ain't gonna say it's gonna take 10 years to heal it, but you just gotta understand that the time it took you to get in it and the time it takes you to get out of it is going to be in some kind of balance. You know, healing is a process and it takes time. So you can't rush it. And if you do, things don't heal properly, you know, and then you go off and get into another relationship and it don't work. And you want to blame that person, you want to blame things when you weren't really ready yet. You thought you was ready, you know, but you weren't really, and I've been there, you know, you think you're ready, you got it all together, and then you go out and meet somebody and then something happened, they touch a wound, and then you two are like, oh my God, you know.
Yeah, so there was a question asked that someone, Bernadette James, asked. She said, what can you do if you're going through the process of opening the rose but have a love interest who isn't coming forward due to confidence? If I'm understanding the question correctly, what you're asking is, what do you do to bring that person forward? So what you're pretty much asking is for a spell. That's what it sounds like. I mean, you can.
I'm gonna do something. What was her name? What was her name again? Because a lot of times you have to know what's going on. So I'm just gonna give her one card.
Bernadette James. She's in the room right now. While she's doing that, let me just say, you can take, like she was saying, a cleansing bath. You can do. You can take. You can take herbs that are indigenous to Venus, like vervain and rose and things of anise star and all these feminine herbs. You boil them on a pot full of water and you add that to your bath water, and you can take a bath in that. That opens your rose right there also. It's also good cleansing with these various herbs. So
okay, that is good to do. I'm happy because I was going to ask you what would you do, but you end up going to it while I was doing this. The reason I went ahead and just shuffled some cards, laid them out, because the first thing came to my mind was the reason this person isn't forthcoming is because the roads aren't open. But why aren't the roads open? What is it with the blockage? This is the card, the first card that I got, and it's reversed, okay? This is the 7 of Wands. This is a person that is fending off something. I feel like there's competition for this man. Somebody's fighting you for him. There's some kind of conflicting energy, because this card, if you look, there's like all these people around, right, with their sticks trying to beat at them. Those are the wands do with passion, right? And then this person has the other wand trying to fend them off, trying to stand their ground. This card's reversed, so it's showing that you haven't solidified your position yet. Based on what? This is your theme right here. This card is also reversed. I read reverse cards. Some people don't read them. I do. It shows me things. This is the card 7 of Pentacles. 7 of Pentacles is somebody who's been working. They've been putting in energy and they've been trying to work towards a goal, but they haven't manifested what they wanted. Because if you look, there's another pentacle right here. He's like stopped. It's showing more work needs to be done. You need to do more work. The card is reversed. So again, you need to do more work. More work needs to be done. The King of Wands is here reversed. Now, I don't know what his sign is, but a lot of times the wands deal with fire signs, Sagittarius, Leo, and Aries. But basically, this person is somebody that's jovial, maybe flirtatious. So this one is telling me that he's, you know, I feel like he has his head turned a little bit. You know what I mean? He's got something going on around him to where his attention is turned based on this fighting that's going on, because this is a card that comes after it, the 5 of Swords here, which is the outcome card, right? It says that, and I'm saying this, the card telling me that you can win this person. You can actually get this person, but it's going to take effort and energy. It's going to take more spell work because you got people fighting you. Okay, because you can look, this person look like they in a fight, you know, and they had to snatch the sword from this person, and they had to the other person threw in the sword after you got through fighting. So I don't know what your sign is, but it tells me that you are a fighter, you know. The Queen of Wands Swords is here reverse, also showing me again that there's some unseen things you don't know about, things that you don't see, that you're fighting. You're ready to fight, but you're not seeing everything right now. I'm gonna let Magic pick up because I see he's got some cards.
Well, I only did a one card, and it was just while you were talking, I just picked that one card, and this card pretty much says it all. Like you said, somebody's fighting her, and she is going to have to do some fighting. It's going to take some effort. It's going to take some work. But what this card also shows me is that there's a lot of emotion involved, and that she's going to have to do healing on herself. So I just want to like quickly piggyback off of what you were saying.
You see that? That's interesting. And we talking about healing. I turned 2 more cards, and here's the King of Swords. This is a doctor. This is even telling me that you might even need some help a little bit. You might need somebody to come in and help you out a little bit. This card right here, the 6 of Pentacles, again, is showing somebody. This is actually him and you too. I feel like there's somebody trying to vie for his time, but you're going to probably need some help. King of Swords. The King of Swords oftentimes talks about the doctor bringing in somebody, getting some insight from the outside. This also tells me that the man that you're trying to get involved with, he needs to be healed too. I feel like this Knight of Swords is dealing with him a little bit too. He may be a little cold, so you're going to have to open his heart, because the King of Wands, can be dealing with Leo, and I feel like there's something with the heart. So there's going to have to be an opening of the heart. It's almost you're going to almost have to open his heart up so that he can even, because once you get rid of this other person, I feel like you may get his attention, but I feel like he may make it more about sexual, and that's not what you just want. Okay, because he's been wounded. And so, a man that's been wounded, they ain't gonna tell you about it. They're just gonna get real defensive and real short, and they're gonna over sexualize. So the sex is gonna be off the hook, but you want a lack of connectivity. I'm just saying, sex would be the bomb, but then, you can't hardly talk to him, So, you laughing at me.
And let's talk about that. Let's go into the sex thing. Finding the right partner to have sex with, because you're dealing with different energies there. What do you think about that? What do we need to do? We need to, first of all,
I know.
find the right partner to mix energies. And second of all, any woman who takes in a lot of sexual partners takes on that man's DNA, takes on his energy, because women are the receivers. That's why a lot of these, forgive me, I'm not trying to be offensive, but a lot of these hoes and thoughts out there, so to speak, that's why they're so, like muddled in their thinking. That's why it seems like they're everywhere. It's because they've taken on so many other people's thoughts by doing that. Same with a man. A man is just different. He's just being, his energy is, those that with a lot of women, he's giving away his to a lot of women. So he's fucked up in that way. So we have to balance that. We have to choose who we lay down and give the goods to.
I think that there's 2 things that we need to do. And one of the most helpful things is, first, know thyself. And when I mean know thyself, you have to understand who you are first. Then once you understand the nature of who you are and how you work, then you understand what you need. Right? So from that perspective, for me, the tool that I use for self-discovery, and then to help me find out what I needed, and I'll relate this to myself being on finding a right partner, because obviously right now I don't have a right partner. Okay, and that's okay. People think that being by yourself means that there's something wrong with you. No, sometimes you need to be alone so that you can heal and get clear about what you want, because we always get what we want. That's the first thing we need to understand. The problem is that sometimes we don't realize that we're asking for things we don't want. We're focused on negativity. We've been programmed to see all this negative imagery. And so regardless to how much we try to brainwash ourselves into this happy thinking, it doesn't work and it doesn't stick. But finding out who I was, astrology was very key to me because, and I'm not going coming from the perspective of if you're a Sagittarius, you can't date a Gemini, or from that perspective. What it's about is understanding energy. We're all energy beings, and understand how to come together, harmonize, and balance each other out, because that's what love does. We're supposed to balance each other out, and if it's done properly, we will heal ourselves. When you find the right sexual partner, your sexual making is not just this lustful act, even though there's times where it may get heavy like that. You'll begin to have tantric sex, where the divine and the divine him will come together, and you will begin to heal each other sexually in other ways. But for me, astrology helped me to understand who were my easiest combinations, and helped me to understand better what they need, because sometimes we have a hard time verbalizing what we need to other people. You see, we may feel like we want a certain thing, but how do you verbalize that to another person? So sometimes it helps me when I meet a guy and I will cast his chart. It will let me know, okay, will this be easy energy? What will be the obstacles in our relationships? What are the inherent challenges? So that when you are prepared and you know better, then you'll understand how the two of you are harmonizing. And when the friction comes, you'll understand how to allow the friction to just be tension. And what it'll do is balance you out. So astrology and doing things like synergistic charts to see how the two people will compare with each other astrologically. Because I'm going to tell you, it's all in there. I mean, you can look at a person's chart and see if they're prone to sexual abuse, if they've been abused. You can find out what your mate likes sexually. So say, for instance, you're dating somebody and maybe you're not satisfying him sexually. Sometimes they don't even know what it is that's going to make them satisfied, because maybe they never were satisfied. Like you said, the lady, mama ain't never had no good orgasm. So mama can't tell me what to do because she don't know, because ain't nobody ever did it. So somebody might need to look at her chart and see, where's her Mars that deals with our sexuality, how we go after it. Where's her Venus? Where's the moon? And analyze it against everything else. Analyze it against the person you're dating. And that way you can see what the other person's needs. How can you best support them? Is this a relationship that's even gonna work? For me personally, my career can be an obstacle in my relationships, okay? Without even looking at my chart, this is something that I realized, but looking at my chart, my midheaven, your midheaven deals with like your career path somewhat, and how people you see. That's at the top of your chart. My midheaven is opposite Venus and Scorpio. My midheaven is in Taurus, and Taurus and Scorpio is opposite each other. They oppose each other. So there'll be this attraction, but then there's this opposition because of what I do in my nature, spiritual and all that kind of stuff. And so dealing in these things, make me attractive, and I attract people. But then there's this repulsion that happens sometimes, because sometimes they're scared. They think I might do something to them, or, whatever, what have you. And so for me, the best mate for me would be somebody who's in the same career path as me, you see, because then they won't be repulsed, or they won't be afraid, or they won't, there won't be this, the issue that'll bring us together more. Then I look at my moon. My moon is in Capricorn. Capricorns like to mix business and pleasure. So here we go again with the person that you work with, the sexual connection where you work together. So it helped me to understand, okay, this is what I need, so I can stop setting myself up for failure. So that's why I say astrology is important, numerology, whatever. And there's different types of astrology. You got, Western astrology, heliocentric, geocentric, Chinese astrology, there's many. And I'm not going to say one or the other is right or wrong. Get you one that feels comfortable to you. Start looking at it, start analyzing it. It will even tell you when is the best time to try to go out and meet somebody new. You know, when the moon is in your sign, when Venus is in the same sign that it was in when you were born, or when it's in a good aspect to you. You can use those things to help you again find the right mate. Find out, you know, for me, my career and needing to have that connection, one technique would be to go to events like that with the intention of knowing that maybe one of these people that I'm networking with or business may be a potential mate, because we would be able to connect on a level, and that's what I need based on my chart, you know. So sitting down with a competent astrologer, not just going on here and getting your free astrology report and thinking you got it. They ain't giving away no good shit for free like that. You'll get some basic information, and that's good, but it's not going to be able to get you to the point where you can really begin to make changes in your life. And I'm just going to say this one last thing. Shameful plug. So it's at Black History Month, and I'm doing half off all readings and consultations. Just put in all year at the checkout. So, you know, astrological reports, tarot readings, past life readings, half off until, you know, the end of this month. So that'll help you to find out what's going on. Maybe you met somebody, you want to check your chart out and figure out, you know, what's going on. Maybe y'all get married and you want to know what's the best time to get married, so the spirits will bless your union. You know, there's just things that we forgot to do that we need to do, you know.
Okay, and yeah, I'm glad you threw that in there, because, you know, as spiritual and occultic practitioners, we do own our own businesses. She has Enchanted Decorating. I have the Magical Elite Supply Shop. Well, I also do consultations, tarot readings, and I do spell work as well. So, you know, www.themagicadelitesupplyshop.com. Check out my sister Oshun. She got some good products. She makes her own candles, you know, and she'll put some herbs and stuff like that, and oils and all that. So, so that we can do more of these things, that we can actually help the community, and that's what our goal is right now. So how about giving out some rituals? You want to do that?
Yes, because I actually channeled one. I'm amazed that I made it to this hangout, and that I don't know how crazy I look, but because I was up all night channeling. You know, when the spirits is dealing with you, they dealing with you, you know. So I did channel a ritual that I think will be really good to do. And I'm sure you got something. So I'll let you go first. I've been talking a lot.
That's okay. All right. I know when the spirit moves you, you got stuff to say. You gotta get that shit out. Get it out. So yeah, I got one. And Bernadette James, you probably can use this one. On the night of Venus, which is Friday, a lot of love work, spell work, lust, relationship work, whatever you want to call it. A night of Venus, which is Friday, as the moon is waxing, which means when it's almost full, you, on a piece of parchment paper, you can draw a heart that drips blood, and it can look like this. It'll look like that. And on the reverse side of that, you put your name, and you put your lover's name or potential mate's name or whatever. Your red candle with some kind of love oil. Now, either me, myself, or Oshun have these kind of oils in our stores. So you place that on the heart that was drawn on the paper. And as you light the candle, you say these words 3 times. You say, I'm sorry, I don't have the words. Give me a second here. All right, so you go ahead while I find these words. I can't believe it.
All righty then. So this spell, you're not gonna find this in any book anywhere, because this is something that I channeled from spirit. And a lot of, I don't know, turn down the heat. I'm doing a video streaming live, so what you need. And actually, if you don't have all these items, you can get them from me. I carry them. I can put you together a spill kit. I can personalize it, which I often do, and which I actually prefer to do because I don't like to do assembly line, spills where it's just one fits all. That's not how it works. But I can adapt it. But this is a good place to start, or if you just want it just the way it is, you could do it that way. You're going to need a pink candle like this, one of the freestanding candles. You're going to need a visual style Yemonya candle like the one that you have there. And you want to have another freestanding green candle. Okay. And you're going to also need the symbol for the heart chakra. It's green. It's like a flower. You're going to need to print that out because you're going to be working with that sigil. You're going to need herbs. You're going to need some healing herbs. Healing herbs like vervain. You can put balm of Gilead in it. You can put violet, black copal, rue, which is really good because it cleanses. It's for love. You're going to put in hyssop because that's for love and it's for cleansing. Those healing herbs are going to go on the Yemonya or Madre Agua candle. If you can't get the Yemonya candle, you can just get maybe a blue or a white candle because those are her colors. And you can just put her symbols or write her name on it. Then you're going to get your pink candle like this. And you're going to put your name on it. Then you're going to put, if there's a particular person that you want to attract, you want to put their name on it. If not, you can put something generic like soulmate or twin flame or something like that. And you're gonna do the same thing with the green candle, okay? And that one you're gonna also put open your heart because a lot of times, men or women, our heart chakras are shut down, and so that has to be open in order for us to then accept and love. You're gonna need some Madre Agua water and some rose water. I have my rose water in here. You're gonna need some kind of love oil. This is sweet love that I made. I also have, I put some Oshun number 5 oil on the pink and the green candle. Am I still there? Okay.
You're still there.
Okay, I thought I was gone. Okay, sorry. That's why I stopped for a moment. I thought I was gone. But anyway, this is tantric love oil. This is just to like spice it up more, and divine blessings, which again it has Palo Santo oil and Peruvian balsam in it, which are for healing and blessings. I put that on also on the green, or I'm sorry, the Yemonya candle or the white and blue candle that you might get. And I also added some blood moon oil, full moon oil here that I made. And I've also put that onto the Yemonya candle. What you want to do is, I would say starting this, even if you could do it today, because the moon is in a good phase for love. And so is the sun. They're both in really good phases for love. You're going to start burning them. You're going to sit the green candle on top of there. You're going to put this in the fire safe candle holder, anoint it with your candle. I took Oshun herbs and sprinkled them on there, things like hibiscus and rose and cinnamon, things like that. You're going to dress your candle. You're going to put them in a triangle, okay? And a triangle pointing this way, where they're pointing upward, because you're going to be attracting to you. Going to bring it to you. And you're going to let them burn, okay? Once, I want to add some seeds to mine. That's the one item you don't have to have, is some seeds, like seeds for plants, okay? Because what you're going to do is you're going to grow something. A lot of people, after they do their spells, they discard their candle wax. In this spell, you're not going to discard your candle wax. You're going to actually bury it and plant it so that it grows. So you're going to burn it down, and at the end, you're going to have a gob of candle wax. You're going to have that symbol, and it's all going to be in a big gob, right? And so you're going to hold on to it. You're going to hold on to it until March 16th. Why? Because the moon is going to be in the sign of Cancer. And that's one of the best places to have the moon when you plant things. You want to plant in water. The full moon is coming. Don't wait till the full moon, because if you wait till the full moon, the moon will be in Virgo. And that's not a good time. It's probably one of the worst times because it's barren when the moon is in Virgo. So don't wait that long. I'm giving you this time because the moon switches signs every 2.5 days. So you want to do it while it's in this frame. And then it also goes void of course right before it. And you definitely don't want to practice magic then, because when it's void of course, it's just not a good time to do anything with the moon, period. So on that particular day, you want, and it's also a festival day for Hopi and for love in India. So there's more reasons to it. But the moon is going to be in Cancer. I told you, Yemiya rules the sign of Cancer. So on that day, you're going to take the wax, and I want you to bury it at your front door, because you're bringing love to you. Then you're going to sprinkle the seeds on top of it and water it. Whatever plant, hopefully don't try to plant something you don't want right there. Like, I'm gonna tell you something. Don't go try to plant marijuana on top of it or something like that, unless it's legal to do that. You know, you might get it, you know, but you might want to get you some, you know, some, you know, not like that, something cool, but don't try to grow no crazy stuff. Don't try to grow a tree right there at your front door. You know, it's gonna take a long time to grow, you know, and it's just all symbolic. And so that way, you're healing with her, you're having her to bring it to you. And it's really important when you take your spell, because you got a fire spell, you got the water, because you're using these waters as you're giving them as offerings to the deity, the incense, because I want you to actually burn them on the charcoal, and then you're going to plant it into the earth, and that's going to make your spell more powerful. That's going to actually keep the relationship together. Okay, because remember I said sometimes people have a hard time with getting it to grow. Okay, and so I think that's a good one. That's the one that they gave me. I would say try it. I'm gonna do it, and I'll let you know what happens.
Okay, I also wanted to say that there's a reason that we decided to come together to do this particular video and speak on these issues, because it's very prevalent in the melanated community, and not only that, it's a balance here. You're hearing things from a man and also a woman. So notice that I am wearing a shirt that has black and red on it. That's duality. That's even Papa Legba's colors, because he represents duality, yin and yang, male and female. So that's the reason we thought it would be a good idea to speak on this topic, because you're getting both points of view, from a man and from a woman. So with that being said, like I said about this spell, this is on the night of Venus, which is Friday. Like she said, while the moon is waxing, before it gets to its full point, on a piece of parchment paper, you draw heart dripping blood. I'm going to show it again. Something like that. And then on the reverse side, your name, and then your potential mate or lover's name right below that. You anoint a small red candle with some kind of love oil, come to me girl, or come to me boy oil, or something like that. And you place it on the heart that you was drawn. And as you light the candle, you say these words 3 times. You say, burn flame like this love, bright as the stars above, cause love's heart to beat for me, light this passion for all to see. And you say, like I said, you say that 3 times. 3 is one of the most mystical numbers in the universe. You let the candle burn for about 10 minutes, and then you snuff it out. And as you're snuffing it out, you repeat those words again 3 times. All right. So you repeat this daily until the candle is completely consumed. And like Oshun was saying, you don't throw the remains away, the candle wax, you bury it. All right. So for an added effect, this is from my early hoodoo days. You can use dove's blood ink to write, and I have this for sale on my store. I'm sure Oshun has something similar to this on her store. You can write the words and draw the heart in dove's blood ink. You can also use quill pen. You use white, use pink, use green. I use green for spells like this because green is the color of your heart chakra. And this is where we're working with and from the heart chakra. So that's a good spell to use. And as I was saying, ladies, I've given this spell out before. I've couple of clients have come to me and says it's worked really well. You take that Venusian bath, which is all the Venus herbs in a bath, and this really works when you are menstruating. You wear all red if you're looking for a mate and you want to go out and you want to mingle. You wear all red, bra, panties, everything red. Red is the color of the root chakra, and this is we're trying to attract a mate. So it works really well when you're at your most powerful, which is your menstrual cycle. Society has taught us that oh, it's icky, it's nasty. No, that's one of the most powerful times it has. So, oh, fellas, I'm not trying to be gross or obscene or anything like, but let me just say, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but that's one of the best times for you to taste your woman. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
You know what though? That goes back to tantric sex. And I think I heard Magick talking about it. They call it the oval. That there is that the man needs to take it to become a god. So that's out of subject, but the vagina carries a lot of helpful things for the body. For instance, I was reading recently that for women who don't have vaginal births and have cesareans, their children are more likely to have asthma and other sicknesses because they don't get I guess, the vaginal canal that they would normally be introduced to during the birthing process. They don't get it, and so it affects their health in life. So do you see from that perspective that even the baby needs something to have exchanged orally from the mother to help him, just like the milk. Baby's milk, when baby gets that, it builds their immune system, and it makes them, a lot of times they're healthier, smarter, and different things like that because they've got the breast milk and what's in it naturally. So, people, there's so many taboos and so much stuff.
Right. And we need to stop, being afraid to talk about these things. Just like
years ago.
I think
you got a better chance of going to McDonald's, Burger King, or Taco Bell and getting blood. A witch put it in there.
Yeah.
You're more susceptible to that. All day and get your food and don't. That in African traditions say that oral sex was not practiced, and I've heard some things about that. Like you're not supposed to go down on your woman, and like y'all crazy. Y'all keep believing. This your damn house up, You got stuck. Well, what I wanted to try to do at the end was to take questions and love questions, things on.
I think the feed is kind of going in and out.
Love imagination to really see what is going on. So if anybody, want a quick, reading on a question related to love or something like that, I can do something quick for a few minutes.
And just like I was saying about men tasting your women during their menstrual cycle, those fluids are healthy for us. Just like Oshun was saying, It's not nasty. It's one of the most natural. It is the most natural fluid on earth besides water. Like Aleister Crowley said in the Book of the Law, the best blood is of the moon, monthly. What do you think he's talking about? He's talking about menstrual blood. But we got to stop being afraid to speak about these things. Western society has made it seem like, oh, this is taboo and everything. No, just like I just said that about the men and the women. I mean, women, get your little freak on. Also, taste that man's milk. It has a lot of protein in it. Good for your skin. You know what I mean? So I mean, have fun with it. We used to be able to speak about these things without thinking it's such a nasty thing. No, the act of making love with your woman is the most natural act in the universe. You know, so we've been made to think all these taboos are somehow morally wrong. No, what you do with your mate, anything goes. So I think our time is coming to a close, but Oshun says she wants to do some readings and take some questions. So if y'all in the chat room, y'all can give us some questions or something. We can try our best to answer the questions. But I do see one, and I'm going to give Oshun a chance to answer this one. It says, what is the best way to recharge our crystals in winter when there is not a lot of sun?
You know what I would do? You can still charge them. It depends on what you want. Like, you know, if you're charging them energy, you can still do that. The same thing with the moon. But I think sometimes what happens with the crystals, we use them so much and the energy gets weak. So they almost need to go back into earth. And what they'll tell you to do is go and get them. And leave them there for a cycle or two and then go dig them up. But in the winter, you probably can't even go do that. So I'm creating like your own internal outside. Go get some potting soil, get you a bucket or a planter for a planter, put the soil in there and put the crystals in there and then leave that in there for a cycle, because you just want it. What it needs to do is collect of the earth so it can be nurtured again. It probably gotten weak. So that's one thing that you can do. You can also take them and you can use certain types of lamps. Like I would even say maybe like a light bulb with red light, because that energizes stuff. And you can maybe get a light with a blue light. Because those color rays do have some effect. It has effect on you. That's why they, you know, make certain colors for certain lights, because it affects you, you know, and it'll affect the healing process. So try some of those if you can't get out, or if it's snowing, or, you know, like you said, maybe it's very cloudy and there's not a lot of sun, or, you know, you can try some of those tricks. And that's even what people do. But you got to think about your crystals as like living, breathing organisms, you know. And so you have to think about what gardeners do when they want to still garden and create life and grow things, you know, and their environment is not working with them. Then you have to create your own ecosystem, you know, within like a greenhouse type of thing, you know, that mentality.
And let me just add on to that. You can also, I use this method a lot. There are times when I want to use my crystals. What I'll do, cleanse them. What I'll do is I'll gather them all up, and I have a lot, and I will sage them a lot, you know, like a whole lot. And then what I'll do is I'll take a big bowl, uncooked brown rice, and I'll bury them all in the brown rice, and I'll leave that there for about 24 hours, or at least 24 hours, and that cleanses the crystals as well. It works unfailingly for me. I also put my pendulum in there, so you know it's a good idea and it's a good practice to cleanse your ritual tools on a regular basis. I try to do mine monthly, so everything stays fresh and recharged, just like I do my altars. I sage them, you know, I pray over them. So not to get off on the tangent, that's just going along with, you know, cleansing the crystals when during the winter when you have to be in a house. That's a great method to do that. Or even if you just sit them in some, I did this the last time. I collected rainwater and just sat them in there and left them in there for like 2 days. So that kind of worked for me also. Did you see any other questions?
I can't see questions. You have to look at them. I can't. I have my screen's not working right. So,
do you guys believe that the gods and goddesses actually once existed, or that they are thought forms that one can tap into energetically, or both? I've been asked that before, and it is my contention that it's both. It is my belief that the archetypes of the deities are all in us. I truly believe that, because there are times where I work with certain spirits, I take on their characteristics. So the archetypes are there already. Like when I work with Ishu, you know, I was pretty mean and cynical. I said, like, you know what? I can't keep fucking with you like that. Because he just has like an aggressive and mean nature, but it's a perpetual energy about Ishu. A lot of people like working with him. I'm not one of them, because that's just not my nature like that. When I work with Gede spirits, they are childlike, chaotic energies. And I was like just really goofy and silly and childish when I work with them. So I do believe that everything that with, you know, we got the whole universe within us, and that includes the gods and goddesses. So I believe, yeah, they may have existed billions of years ago, but the traditions, their myths and mythologies and their characteristics and their personalities are passed down through generations. So to answer your question, I think it's both, but that's just my opinion. I'll give Oshun a chance to answer now.
wow, that's a very that's a big question. So I'm just gonna try. And again, I agree with you. I think it's both, but different. Okay. I think that there's certain entities and deities that have never, as far as what we know, and there's different levels of creation, and even the earth has gone through different phases and cycles of creation where different beings and things were here. There are things that are here that have been bound, that have come from different places. So some of these entities and beings have not been human, have not been physical. And I go away shit. For instance, going and dealing with, I had a person come to me who had been dealing with some Goetia entities to try to bring back a lover, and didn't work right, because Goetia demons, for one, in my understanding, they probably ain't been human, and if they is, they ain't been human in so long. They don't care about your plight of love. They just did what you told them to do, bring her back, and he brought him back, and then something so horrible happened that she left and probably don't know out there that ain't never been human. Human life don't understand that. It made the wife scared, and there was some sexual things that happened, like some uncomfortable sexual abuse that happened after, you know, this woman came back into the house with her child, based on working with this energy that is not meant to work that way, and again hasn't been human. But then when you deal with the archetypes, like what they call the collective unconscious, for instance, archetypes is Virgo, Sagittarius, you know, even down to Oshun. For me, before I had my conscious awakening of knowing what energy I carried, I was already doing things that are associated with Oshun's myth. The first thing I did for money was to do hair. I always tell my father I wanted to be a hairdresser as a little girl. He would tell me by the time I got old enough, they have computers doing hair, so don't do that. But Oshun is over hairdressers. Okay, that's why she has the mirror and the comb. You know, I would never wear white. I didn't like, I thought I would have to be white, and she got it dirty. Okay. So these little, when I started to read about the mythos, even I'm not gonna say I'm a shallow person, but even knows me knows that when I used to go to the club, I was always in the mirror. If there was a mirror at a club, I'm in it, and I wanted to dance in it. And it wasn't because I was so damn shallow. Oh, she's always in the damn mirror. Okay, she's scribing. But what I'm trying to show you is that that's a part of the archetype energy that I carry, carrying the energy of Oshun. You know, has Oshun as a goddess been physical? Yeah. But has some of these other energies you call on been a person walking in the physical? No, some of them aren't even human. They're like some other type of phylum. We talking about, you know, what phylum do people go in? We're talking about creation. So, you know, yes, some of them have been and you know, have went on, and some of them come back and reincarnate again as avatars through people. And some of them have never been. And some of them are just thought forms and consciousness based on people thinking this. Let me tell you, I think Jesus is one of them. And some people probably gonna stop listening to me. But because you keep saying something and you create an artificial entity, it has a mind of its own, then it can act on its own. Don't mean it ever had to exist, because that person they call Jesus never did that. There were other people who did similar things from different cultures and systems and stories. But did this actual person live and die? No. But now you got this energy that you can call them happen for you. It can move. It's got a consciousness. You know what I mean? Like the poltergeist. Poltergeist come from something human, not was human, you see? Because we are creator beings. Just saying.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. So, yeah, some existed. I agree totally. Some existed, some didn't. Jesus was is a thought form. I think even Brother Panic said that Jesus never existed, but now he exists on the astral plane, which is where our thought forms are. You know, so many millions of people praying to this made up imaginary being, and it ends up being real astrally, not physically. So
and I'm gonna tell you something else I read, that the ancients didn't have this astral realm, that we had to create this realm. That the ancients didn't deal with the astral realm. Okay, that's the lowest realm of creation. You're right. That's where our psychic jump.
That's exactly
like that.
And especially the etheric realm, which is right below that, which I do not like at all. It is so unpleasant there. You know, so we created, that's where all the low level entities reside. I mean, low vibrating, devious motherfuckers. It is an unpleasant experience. I don't like visiting that realm at all, but that's not what this is about. I gotta go. I'm sorry, I gotta go.
All right, well, me too. I gotta go too.
Okay.
So
we hope that this was really informative. We're gonna do this again. We're going to see about doing another format, but I hope that y'all got a lot out of this. If you can hit us both up for questions, we're both on Facebook as well, or send us a message and through YouTube. You know, so thanks for tuning in, those that tuned in, and thanks for the questions. I thank my sister Oshun for doing this with me. And hopefully we see y'all again soon. Oshun, you got anything to say before we close?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank y'all. I know it was a little slow getting started, some technical difficulties, but you know, if you have any questions for me, or if you want to reach me for a consultation for spiritual work or whatever, you can reach me at email at stargoddess313@gmail.com, or you can visit my site at www.enchanted-divas313myshopify.com, and you know, I can customize something for you, you know, but we can just build from there. Thanks for stopping by, and peace and many blessings to you.
Peace. We out.